winning in, we are competing in, we are repeating in, we are believing in. It's time for us to shift our mind from best in the world to best for the world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. It creates a new world to mind a shift, intentionality, perceptuality, conceptuality. We are choosing to shift our mind to best for the world, best for our world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional.
Hello everyone and welcome to this roundup of the Best for the World broadcast 2022. The third year in a row where we have co-created 48-hour live broadcast together with people from all over the world in various concepts. This year I guess it has been approximately 20 concepts and some 50 people or something that have co-created this weekend together. And all of it you can find on www.bestforthe.world. And right now we have a roundup, so to speak, to maybe not summarize, but maybe to remember some special events during this weekend and some golden specks moments. Yeah, golden moments. That's nice. Golden moments. I really like that. And so with me here I have Jonas Nilsson. Welcome, Jonas.
Thank you. Nice to be here again.
Nice to be here again. You ended up in the sofa Friday afternoon.
Yes.
Or actually you came into the studio before it was even created.
Yes, with the ambition just to stay for 15 minutes to give you a film. But then I was just sucked into this wonderful world of creative people and visions and everything. So best day for a very, very long time.
Okay, wow, that was interesting. And we also have with us Captain Future, Michael Cillian. You're with us. Welcome.
Yeah, hello everyone.
Hi.
I'm here. I was in Stellan's home earlier today, but I caught a ride home here in Halmstad, north of Stellan's.
Yeah, in the studio, in the studio in Lomma, which is situated actually in my house. That's right. So we have had this studio, and we have different views here. This is the sofa setup. We have had the dialogue setup. We have also have outdoor setups and Zoom setups and Digalog setups, and so maybe we should start with the best memory then, the most golden memory, and see what we can come up with. So who wants to start with sharing their golden moment? Who wants?
I can go first.
You can go first, okay.
So of course there are two of them. Of course we did our workshop, the Ministry of Silly Workshops last night.
Yeah, okay. The Ministry of Silly Workshops, yeah, okay. So talk a little bit about that one and I will show it to the audience.
Yeah, me and Stellan just said, let's talk about doing a workshop, designing a workshop live. And okay, so I had enough previous phrase in my mind, just that is the Ministry of Silly Rituals. We talked about rituals before that. And then I said, okay, the name can be the Ministry of Silly Workshops, like a Monty Python style ministry that has to approve every workshops, because every workshop has to be silly. And things like that. And then we went from there and we improvised the whole thing, a whole hour of improvising a workshop while actually doing it ourselves while improvising it. And then actually we have a functionally workshop coming out of it that we actually the prototype on another meeting or meetup that Stellan actually gonna do.
So coming to us, do you want to go first? What is your best memory from this weekend?
Well, there were two there were good moments in front of the camera. I think that's what you want to have. But I also want to
No,
say
you don't
we've
need-
had magic moments behind the camera.
Yeah, please share. Please share that.
outside.
Yeah, please share that.
And just coming here, and I was like, as you said, I just came in the right time because you were lacking one person. You need some more hands, and we were working together. We were rigging the studio. We had lunch. We had we could talk. I spoke to you, Michael, about life and everything, and really nice discussions. And then
I actually have a wonderful picture of you with a red nose, so now I show it here to the audience. So this is in the beginning of the. This is one of those moments you're talking about, I guess. You're sitting in the sofa where I'm sitting right now with a red nose.
Yeah, and that was when the guy in the car was talking about.
The guy in the car,
he was
yeah.
in the car, and it was no sound. It was just like a spaceship, and he was talking about. Well,
Yeah, the
very
concept.
philosophical.
Do any of you remember what the name of that concept was?
He had been to India. No, do you remember that, Michael? We were sitting here having cheese and biscuits.
I think on the road. Wasn't
On the
that
road.
On the road.
Because it was on the road.
Yeah. That's right.
And
Yeah.
so, and also nice moments were when I had the opportunity to talk about the House of Hope, my project, but also
Yeah. House of Hope is your project. You're building a house in your.
in my garden.
So now we see some pictures from.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
So last year I was here showing you the sketches, and now, as we said, this year the theme is action. So there's action, a lot of action over at my place, and now the house is there, all halfway through the process. So hopefully next year we will be a housewarming party over at my place or a visit.
And now we only see the fundamental constructions here, but if you want to see the whole, and you and Richard Pelson, you were talking about, and he has been with you for the project all the time.
Oh,
and
yes.
So you talked about how everything came to be, and that is called House of Hope. So
House of Hope, yeah.
so if you want to engage in that hemp house building, please go to the website and find the concept called House of Hope. And there is also a clip from last year when you had the architect here in the sofa.
Exactly, Henry was here with me.
And so some stuff have happened since last year,
yes.
definitely. So okay, so I can share a memory also. I've seen a lot of different setups, and I've been engaged in some, not that many this year as the previous 2 years, because 2 years ago when we started this broadcast, it was just in the beginning of the pandemic, and we were like in the whole world were in synchronicity. A lot of people were actually in lockdown around the world, and 2 weeks into the pandemic we realized we need to do something, and 2 weeks after, in the end of March to 2020, we had the first Best for the World broadcast, and that brought meaning to a lot of people, I guess. And we had not only 48 hours, it was 4 days and nights, so it never ended. And at that point there were a lot of concepts, but already then we realized that you can take in concepts that are outside the studio and so on. And I've been engaged in some of those inside and also some outside concepts. But this concept I'm not engaged in at all. But in some sense I am, because what they create land in my garden. And here we can see Roland Gudinge and Mette Cosmo Koverberg when they plant seeds in my garden, and what they're talking about is biodiversity. So planting a lot of different seeds and putting them into the soil, and how you can engage in the soil and so on. And so this is now standing in my garden, and hopefully in 2 weeks or something we will see the first signs of something coming up. And that also brought me to mind the concept you were engaged in Jonas, about soil and food.
Yeah, that's right. I'm studying Dr. Elaine Ingham's Soil Food Web School, and it's about how to regenerate intoxicated chemical agricultural soils, because it's a global problem. We are kind of misbehaving or abusing this life-giving soils. All culture has been evolved through high yielding soils, and they have all disappeared because the soils were gone. So, and we are about to do the same thing once again, globally this time. There are no new land behind the mountains. We are stuck. So, but there are, of course, solutions. But they are strong. The people selling those stuff, they make a lot of money, and they want to continue making those money. So we have to go. The good thing is that farmers themselves are clever enough to start questioning what they're doing to themselves and to the soils.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Definitely, and in that conversation you were with another student in another program studying. She's studying Elina Lagerson.
Yeah.
She's studying entrepreneurship within food sector, so sustainable food entrepreneur. So the idea was there to connect the two of you, and you didn't meet before. That was
No, we
you
were
met in
connecting
the conversation.
Yes.
That's great. That's great. Okay, so any other golden moments you want to share here? I had one of mine. I can go for that then. So the moment I had was yesterday. It was in the sofa. I was here together with Stan Lindqvist, and me, Stan, and a guy called Patrick Beeman from Netherlands, and Bo Rex in northern Sweden. Where the four of us were co-creating a workshop that we're going to host in end of May in a context called, here we see Patrick very engaged in the dialogue, and so what we're going to do is that we're going to host this workshop during the SOL. It's an organization about Society of Organization Learning, and end of May in Stockholm, so it's called SOL Learning Plaza. So we created the workshop in the event. It resembled a little bit what we did later the same day in the night when you started out, but then we had to focus, you and I, Michael, for the silly workshops. Here we wanted a workshop which was filled with life, so we had that as a design criteria, and it was I'm so glad that we were actually able to do it in a workshop, broadcast it live, because designing workshops, it's a piece of art, and you never see it happen. You only see the workshop conducted or facilitated, or
You see the product.
you see the product. Even if you're part of the product, as you maybe are if you attend a workshop, you never see how it was created and why. So even if you try to explain what happened and so on, you never get to see the process itself. So this was one of the purposes why doing it open. So the only preparation we have had is also described in the concept at bestfather.world. Then it's called the organizational living and learning organization. The living and learning organization. So if you go in there, you can see the whole process, and we have been open to all parts of it. And there are also some, we shared, we were actually 5 of us in the design team. So the 5 of us started out by have some kind of sharing worldviews. So we put that together into a small movie for 25 minutes and something like that, which I believe in itself was a fantastic product in itself. So yeah. Any other golden moments you want to share? Michael, you've been living in the house for a couple of days.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I've always felt so welcome. I belong in your house, like we said when we talked about the Future Village. And fantastic to belong in your house. And of course, my highlight of the weekend was, of course, also the Glassbeard Games, when we used the concept of what is the Future Village and rituals to do this is a collective sense-making and meaning-making exercise around this that we call the Glassbeard Games. But so it's a conversation exercise mostly, and many of us went into what we call generative dialogue, that we went into deep cognitive flow, and words come out of our mouth that we didn't know before going into this workshop.
Yeah, and Glasby Games is the esoteric game that is not described, but it's talked about in Hermann Hesse's book with the same name, the Glasby Games.
Yeah.
Okay, so we tried that format for the Future Village, yeah. And today we also had a conversation on the Future Village just previously here, not more than a half an hour, 20 minutes ago, and exploring the roles of the Future Village, the artifacts, and the principles, and how we can create a perception which is enabling to see more than what can be seen. So for instance, not only what can be measured, but also what can't be measured, and how we can use the concept of a village and reinvent it to a future village, or whatever we call it, with all of the good abilities that the village used to have, and then we put in this I would say new perception, at least for Western world people, to see wholeness and engage in wholeness, and also creating a new we which is not depending on a them, so a we that is defined by an including we. So any more golden moments? I can share one more. Yesterday I was sitting here with the technology in my lap and producing some videos as I do now. I have this iPad here, and this is where we produce the stream. And I sat in a table here just on the other side, and I can see if I can. I have a building camera which I haven't been using for so long, so I can show that. See if I can, if I do like that, and so this is the view, and there is Michael also. This is the view of the where the technician usually sits, and there I was yesterday, having this very interesting dialogue in front of me. It was about the feminine principle, and it was Mette again, who you saw earlier, and Eva Malmström and Anna Gazzotti. They were talking about the feminine principle and how we can reintroduce that into the world and into society and our organizations. So it was a very interesting conversation. I was so glad that I listened into it live in the room, and it really embraced me on so many levels. So yeah, that was fantastic. Also a golden moment.
Today, many of our views are so colored by masculine view, or so it's really time to have those thoughts included. I have to check that out later.
Yeah. It's called Women's Circle, and you can also find it as a concept. Michael, any more nice golden moments?
Yeah, of course, the Earth Hour barbecue when we went outside in the dark in just a candle.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Beyond, what's the name of the burgers? Beyond Meat?
Yeah, Beyond Meat, that's right. Beyond Meat is the name of the hamburger that is not made out of meat. So it was a fantastic evening with, which I believe was very beautiful in many ways. I have also some pictures from that moment. We were in the studio, you and I, Michael, and we were having a conversation together with a house in Västerås, a little bit north in Sweden, and they were eating their dinner. The clock was, we started out the broadcast at 8, and Earth Hour began half an hour later, and we got to know the people around the table. Right now you see 3 of them. There were actually 4 of them, but Rickard, who isn't on the picture right now, he was out cooking. And Evelina in the blue to the left, she was a neighbor to Rickard and Victoria. Victoria is on the right side, and then there was Kate, and Kate was for her first time in Sweden. and she came, as I understood it, as a refugee from, there's a picture of all of us, a refugee from Ukraine. So she didn't know anyone in this context, and there's you, Michael. It was very beautiful, the whole setup, and we were sitting there with candles. So this must be very early in the broadcast, because we haven't lit up the candles. You see that, Michael, right? Okay, so that was a little bit about the Earth Hour, and then we ended up by taking out all the lights, and you had a fantastic story there about the ritual, Michael. Couldn't you share that again, about it's not like electricity saving, it's something else?
Yeah, this is the symbolic act. So it's not about putting out the electricity light per se, but doing that creates a visual experience for many people, and to see that when Mani does it, you can see everyone who does it. So it becomes a collective symbolic act that is extremely visual. Without you having, like, you don't have to go inside someone's kitchen to see that you're actually doing it. You can see it from just walking or driving by a house to see that everyone has done it, but and things like that. And we talked about, wouldn't it be cool if an entire city committed to doing it, every single light, so that you can see it from the space station and actually film it and see that this is a strong symbolic act, not just some of the houses, because that's not visible from space.
Yeah, and I also had another really fantastic golden moment. I can't share it with you as a movie here, because we broadcasted it from another what do you call it, platform. This one is called Switcher Studio, and we've also broadcasted from Zoom. And yesterday we had a very interesting setup. It was a lot of technology in that. I believe it was a Digalog platform taking place in both the physical and the digital world at the same time. And the idea behind it was actually, and the people that are now co-creating this platform, they met for the first time during an event we hosted this autumn together with Almedalsveckan. We were some of us were in Visby, Gotland. You and I, Michael, and Richard, we were there, and another 10 people from Almedalsveckan's organization were there, and we then hosted together a hybrid meeting, which was built upon the idea that everyone has a digital twin. So we together with another 15 people, so we were 25 or something around the world, or most of them in Sweden, but there were also people from other countries. We had a workshop, and at that workshop these people met. So what they have done is that they were so inspired by this idea that you can have a Digalog platform, which is enabling the best of the two worlds. So you have the digital world, which is fantastic if you want to share documents, you want to engage, you can, no matter where you are in the world, you can engage in the conversations and in the workshops and so on. And on the other hand, you had the physical connection, yeah, and where you can, for instance, we went out to have a lunch together, and in the evening we went having a dinner and so on. And they have now prototyped a first beta version of a Digalog platform, and they created it in Roblox. So Roblox is, since half a year or something, they have enabled something called spatial sound, which means that if I come closer to you, like this, if I come closer, and I'm very close, then you probably hear me much louder. And this is what happens when or maybe I should show it when we are in picture also. So when I come closer here, that's what's happening. And so when you move around in the Digalog platform, this is how you interact also. So you have your avatar, and walking around there are also possibilities for having a meeting. So if the three of us want to be undisturbed in a meeting, we can go into a specific meeting room, which is closed for everyone else, for instance. And we can also interact we danced there, and we had a lot of fun together, and we were given a tour around the world, so to speak. So the idea here is to use this for this year's Almedalsvecka. So the prototype will be used later on this summer, and now we have had a first touchdown with reality, and it worked well. So there is also on the webpage, and it's called the Digalog transformation. Yeah. And funny was that the people came in that there were one avatar and one person then, which nobody knew from beforehand. So we helped this person out to get into the platform fully, and in the end, this person, I don't know if it was a he or a she, was standing together with us in the same circle, and that just came to be. So it was a very beautiful ending
nice.
of the whole event. That was also a golden moment. I
And that was someone who wasn't in the event from the beginning, but just an outsider.
Yeah,
who,
we have also
by
had
coincidence, found you.
we have had those outsiders. But what is an outsider?
Yeah, exactly.
Were you an outsider up until you came into the room?
Good question.
I believe we all are, in some sense, or
Yes.
not. Maybe
Well, we are included by thought.
Yeah,
already,
maybe
but
inside and outside is more by choice than by physical or digital. If you participate or if you engage, maybe that's the difference. To just be in a room doesn't make you engaged. We talked about that actually yesterday. Do you remember that when we talked about not only the silly workshops, we talked about the meaningful workshops, and then in the opposite of the silly ones goes the, what do we call it? The dull? No, what was it, Michael? What was the name you gave to the workshops that were energy drainers? Do you remember?
Stupid.
The stupid workshops.
Stupid work.
Yeah, stupid workshop.
Stupid workshops. Yeah. The workshops which were energy drainers and never had any how can I say, any meaning.
Vibration.
Yeah, any vibration or any meaning that was expressed. It was more like one-way directions and so on. So yeah. Okay, any more golden moments you want to share from this year's Best for the World broadcast?
Well, it was nice to sit here with Roland and this guy over Teams. We were looking at some very nice photographs.
Yeah, you
And
were
it was-
part of that one.
Yes.
Okay. The
And,
picture poetry.
Yes, picture poetry, and just to be invited into to take part of someone else's associations and what they see in a picture, the thoughts that they get, can release some thoughts in other people as well, and kind of you create something around this picture, and you share your thoughts, and it was very interesting to talk about that and discuss it. It was just, we were just having fun. Well, it's been fun all the time, but we could have had a cup of tea and just
Picture
discussing.
Poetry in Motion was
Yeah,
the name. I realize
exactly.
now. I was looking here on the Dropbox if I could find it, and I found it, but it was in a format which couldn't be important. I don't know why, but it was very beautiful pictures, and as I believe Roland was almost like, he was baffled on what you came up with, the three of you in that.
Yeah, but that's the magic when you're all thinking and talking about something you have in common or a common object, and it becomes synergy. Like I pick up that idea and I take it one more round, and all of a sudden it takes off. It's so I was very stimulated by that. It was very nice.
Anything else any of you want to mention here before we end this year's Best for the World broadcast?
I hope to be
Yeah.
back next year.
You have to be next year.
Let's do this soon enough.
What did you say, Michael? Sorry, I didn't hear you. Sorry.
Just an awesome experience. Let's do this soon enough. And I would love to come back to your fantastic home and do all kinds of projects.
So by that, I suggest we end this year's broadcast. And why wait the whole year? I don't know. We could do this more often, of course. We will also have the Almedalsveckan, the Ship of a New Story, which is the platform we have created together with a lot of people the last couple of years. And we will have studios in various places, and hopefully we meet there also in conversations, dialogues, workshops, round table discussions, and so on. So thank you very much for being part of Best for the World, all of you, and also for coming into my house and contributing in the studio and the making of it. And I must say, I'm so pleased with the outcome of the studio this year. 2 years ago we started out and we realized that we put the sofa in front of the window, making it hard for when the sun came in. It was like, and last year we had it in this corner also, but it was not that colorful, and now it's very beautiful, I believe, and yeah, it's a little bit pity we have to take it all down very soon, but that's life. That's life, and yeah, the circularity of life, and also the upgoing, outward spinning spiral, where we have some circularity, but also some kind of a learning and an increase of consciousness. So thank you all, and take care. Bye everyone.
Bye everyone.
Bye Michael.
Bye Michael. Take care.
Bye.
We are creating the world we're now living in. We are competing in. We are repeating in. We are believing in. It's time for us to shift our mind from best in the world to best for the world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. It creates a new world to mind a shift, intentionality, perceptuality, conceptuality. We are choosing to shift our mind to best for the world, best for our world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional.